The seniors who were honored tonight, I mean, you've coached them for the last 2 years. They're playing for their second Mountain West championship. Just talk about their work ethic and just like what they brought to the table in just such quick time with you as head coach.
Well, it first came down to trust and confidence, to build their confidence back after having gone through a really hard time. But when you have a new coaching staff come in and you have no idea who they are, trust is a big deal, and it doesn't happen overnight. But the process of how we handle our business every day, and it wasn't always easy, of wondering why we're doing it this way or why we're doing it that way. But I take my hat off to them that they believe and they trusted the process, and they just kept working. And I think they were driven because of the unfortunate circumstance they were in the year before with only winning one game, that they made a true commitment. They not just that, not just on the football field, in the classroom they've done a great job. They've been great citizens off the field. They handle themselves with class and integrity, and so it's the whole bit that I'm really proud of these guys on how they've approached their work and how they come to work every day and how they present themselves.
I mean, offensively, it was a bit of a struggle in the first half tonight. What kind of busted the dam open? What was just getting Keisha on the ball and letting him, make a couple plays?
We needed to shore up some protection issues. They were bringing some heat, and Marcus didn't have a lot of time to throw the ball in the first half, so that's why he was off, because he was hurrying his throws, and so we had to get some things cleaned up there with some protection issues, and then once we gave him a little bit of time and went to some different protection schemes, it allowed us the ability to break some guys open, and then he made some big plays. Jameer made a big play on the sideline over there with the catch. So I got the running game going a little bit. In the first half, we were in long yard situations, seemed like all the time. We got back to a 3rd and 21, and then we converted on one, and we fumbled the ball. Rice caught it to convert it, and we fumbled it, and it just first half was not going our way at all. And thankfully, the defense was playing stiff and missed a field goal on the first drive, and we really needed to come out in the second half and start to get some things going. And defense continued to play well all night long. They did a really nice job, but then we started hitting some big plays and started moving the ball, and so proud of the guys the way they fought back and competed. Because it seemed kind of dead when we got out there in the beginning. The whole senior thing didn't seem like anybody was in the stadium. It was just kind of dead, a little bit, and so needed to wake up.
Everyone was in there post-Thanksgiving haze a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, I think our players were excited, to play. It just, and knew what was at stake. This rivalry is a big deal. This is, we talked a lot about this rivalry and what it's going to mean to you for the rest of your life. And all the people before us that have worn the Bulldog helmet and what it means to them. But it's always an emotional day on Senior Day, especially when you have 28 of them. It takes a long time to go through it. You got to get rewarmed up. It was just, but that's no excuse. I mean, we need to start faster, and nothing was really going our way. But nobody panicked. It wasn't like, okay, we're in a panic mode now, and oh my gosh, the sky's caving in on us and things like that. It wasn't that. It was, okay, we're going to get to some of these things in the second half, and then start making some plays.
I mean, one of those 28 seniors, Keyshawn Johnson, had I think a career high today for yardage, and he also became the school's all-time leader in receiving yards. He already had the receptions record. I mean, I've watched him for 4 years, and I can see the growth. But what do you see? I mean, from when you came in and watching him at the tail end of a couple seasons ago to now? What's the difference in him? What's the growth that you see?
Well, I see a guy that that I think has learned to really compete and with the ball in his hands after he catches it. I'm not sure in the very beginning last year, he's always a quality receiver. But now you can see he's on a mission once he catches it. He really competes hard for the ball. When those are 50-50 balls, he's going to get them. And he wants to do something with it after he gets it in his hands. And, in the very beginning last year, I think he's really improved with that part of his game, of being more competitive with the ball in his hands.
Coach, now that the regular season's over, how do you compare your first season to this season?
I don't really know. It's a lot different, to tell you the truth, because when expectations are high, believe it or not, it becomes tougher. Last year we weren't expected to do anything, and so we were picked last year, and so it's always hard to repeat. To win, to have 10 wins back-to-back seasons is really difficult to do. It's really difficult to do, and to have it done in the regular season says a lot about our kids, our team, our coaching staff, everyone who's involved. There's so many people involved in what goes on day to day, from strength and conditioning and nutrition to the training staff to you name it. It's a team effort, 100%. But it's hard. It's hard to stay consistent, and but I think that was a difference. The first year there was so much learning going on, just about little things. How do you travel? What's a meeting look like? What's the tempo of a pregame meal? Are you loud? Are you quiet? Are you, things like that. So a lot of those little things that we went through, the growth process that we went through the first year, not necessarily this year, but there's a whole new dynamic when now you have the bullseye on your chest, right? And so you have to manage the team a little bit differently than, say, the first year.
Coach, Aaron Mosby with a huge 96-yard pick six. What have you seen with him, and have you seen any growth with him in practice during the games?
Oh, yes, for sure. He's got a bright future ahead. Moving him from safety to linebacker kind of midway through the season, it's been a learning process for him. And that was a big play, no doubt about it. And, but I think, as he continues to grow and understands the position, we always tease him that he's just moving his way closer and closer to putting his hand down on the line of scrimmage because he's such a big body, and but I think linebacker is the fit for him on where he needs to play because he's rangy, he's physical, he's very athletic. It was great to see him make a play like that. I'm happy for him.
And Coach, there's two seniors that have had two different journeys. Marcus McMurray, being a transfer, what has he meant to Fresno State and you?
He's meant a lot to our program in a lot of ways. Not just for his physical ability and what he does during a football game. It's every day, the leadership that he brings, the class, the integrity that he carries himself with. He has endeared himself to this team. And the team had, he was in a tough position when he first got here, because I say this all the time. If it wasn't for Marcus's demeanor and who he is as a person, last year could have exploded in our face, really, but it didn't because the class that he came here with and being humble and wanting to fit in with the team and not being that guy that, you never know when they're going to come in and they say, hey, I'm the transfer that's, the savior. I mean, he never approached it that way and just continued to work. And I'll say it again, Chase and Virgil was as important in that whole thing as anything. Those two guys, the way they handled that situation last year, really helped our team chemistry, and I think it has grown more and more. And Marcus is a big part of that. and he doesn't take a lot of credit for it. He comes out to work every single day. He's not too high, he's not too low, but people have a lot of respect for him, as do I.
And another guy, senior, having to prove himself along the way was Hellmuth. Just what's his work ethic like, and being a walk-on to becoming a team captain and a leader out there?
Well, it's really funny because you don't hear George talk a lot. He's not a very vocal guy. And so the team voted on the captains as I'm tallying up all the votes, and his name keeps getting ticked off. 1, 2, 3, like that. And Mark, I could understand Marcus, but George being quiet, I'm like, okay, behind the scenes and in the locker room, in the weight room, wherever it may be, he's doing something that has earned the respect of this team. And he comes to work every day. He works hard. He plays through injury. There's so many times where he's got a hamstring or he's got something and he never misses practice. And he's always that guy that, the three musketeers, I call them, Bailey and Allison and him, they are attached at the hip and they care a lot about what's going on. And George is one of the main leaders there for sure. And again, he's another one who has a great deal of respect, obviously, of the team. When you're a walk-on and then you become a starter to a captain, that says a lot about someone. And I think he really values the program. He's a program-first guy. He's a team-first guy. He's not all about himself at all. And maybe that's why the team loves him so much.
Any final questions for Coach Tedford? Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.